Hi everyone, very good morning or good evening or good afternoon, wherever you guys are. So it's me, Shaila. I'm your tutor. Today would be our introduction session for our onboarding and recruiting applications. Okay, today we are going to start the recruiting module, and I'm going to navigate and I will explain how the cloud environment looks like and what are all the prerequisites we require to use those applications. And before starting that, I will explain who will be involving while doing these implementations. Briefly, I will give an overview of how we should utilize these applications and who will all be involving into these. Before starting this session, I have given the complete course content also. And this is the course content where we will be going through in our RCM and onboarding sessions. So before starting the RCM, I will be explaining in the demo environment what are the basic settings to create an user ID and what do you mean by proxy and how many users and what type of consultants will be involving into this project. Well, once we start the implementation, there would be different types of projects in SuccessFactors, SAP SuccessFactors. So the first one is the customers who are already having one of the application on their backend system, like a normal SAP or PeopleSoft or Tallo, any type of application. If they want to go for the cloud applications, they will always recommend to opt the SuccessFactors, because SuccessFactors has been launched nearly 2005 period, 2004 period, but it became too popular from the 5 years onwards. Earlier, we were not having that much more features when we compare to the 10 years back. So they were keep going on upgrading so that these applications became so friendly applications to the customers where they can easily implement, and the consultants would be different types of consultants will be involving in these implementations. Like number one, implementation consultant. They will be taking part to do the configuration from end to end. Those people are called as an implementation consultant. And number two, integration consultant. Integration consultant will be taking part of the technical functionalities. Example, if the customer is having already a third-party environments, with those third-party environments, they want to connect this cloud application. There, the integration consultants will come into the picture. And number three, from the SAP side, customer relations manager will be taking part, because SAP will definitely play an important role whenever the customer is going to implement these applications. SAP in sense, SAP side CRM resources will be taking part, customer relations managers. They will be playing as a middle layer between the customer and the implementation partner. Implementation partner in sense, almost a few guys knows who are all implementation partners. SAP implementation partner companies are like Accenture, IBM, Capgemini. These all organizations are the SAP partner companies, and the customers are like a Coca-Cola, PepsiCo. These all are product related, or any oil and gas, or any infrastructure, any type of business guys comes under customers, right? So these customers, their side, we will have again different roles. They are like a business users we will have, and they will also have their own project managers like that. So project managers from the business side, one type of project manager will be there, and from the implementation side, the methodology processing of the implementation methodology processing project manager will be playing an important role. And apart from that, again, multiple consultants will be involving. Multiple consultants in sense, for example, take a recruiting module. Recruiting module can be implemented as a standalone module or as a integrated module with other applications also. In sense, in recruiting, they can integrate onboarding module and they can integrate employee central as well. The reason is, if they integrate these modules, they can flow the candidate from recruiting to onboarding to employee central. Then employee number will get generated in the employee central. Due to that reason, they can integrate these modules. In case if they don't want, for example, all these modules, still they can go ahead with the recruiting module. So similar way, if they want to implement onboarding module, they can implement onboarding also as a standalone. Standalone means without any other integration applications, they can go ahead and implement onboarding module. In case if they want onboarding to be integrated with the EC or with only RCM, that can also be done. So this is how the integration people will come into the picture. So if there is an integration, then only they will be involved into the implementation. Otherwise, only the implementation and implementation consultant and also the functional consultants and also the project manager and business user. These 4 roles are sufficient to go ahead and kick the project. Okay. So before doing these implementations, what they require a workbook. Workbook in sense, going forward, I will show you how the workbook looks like. Workbook means that is an implementation workbook where we will be gathering the requirements from the customer. So here, when we were doing the implementations, at that time, we will be contacting the customer, right? In the workshops, we will be having a workshop sessions. So in the workshops, customer will be providing the requirements. Those all requirements we will be creating, we will be maintaining in the workbook. That workbook will be maintained in a specific Excel sheet. In that Excel sheet, we will be updating each sheet for each scenario, each functionality. In sense, in recruiting, you will have so many functionalities. For example, if I can go to the content here, so you will be understanding how to set up the recruiting application. What are all the features to be enabled in the recruiting? So first of all, why we require recruiting application? So you should convince the customer why recruiting module is required. So in that way, we will be explaining them the difference of the cloud application recruiting and the normal recruiting process. Normal recruiting process, you all guys know, right? You all guys join so many organizations in your experiences. So however, whatever they do, the process, simple process. If you know the recruiting process, anyone can do that, right? So that recruiting process will be having multiple functionalities, like hiring the candidate. First of all, what they will do first process step is they will first create a position. So if position is open in the organization, then only they will open the job in the market. Take an example. There is a group of people are working in the company. In that group, one of the position has got vacant. So they decided to fill that position. In that case, what they want to do, they want to create a position ID in the system. So for that, they may have some different approvals to get that position to be created. So similar way, once they create that position, then they will be opening a job requisition for that position. Job requisition is nothing but a JD, where we will be filling all the job requirements. That is a job requisition, right? In that requisition, they will be filling all the details of the job title, and where it should be posted, and what are all the job roles and responsibilities, and how much salary they were expecting to give, and who anyone has been referring those referrals are there in that position, and who will be approving. And these all details are nothing but requirements of the fields on the requisition. So those fields will be coming and sitting in these documents. So this is the document where we will be filling those documents. Once we fill that document, then we can configure that in the instance. Those instances I will be explaining you in our environment going forward. So here I have given the complete course content. You can get the course content from their browsers, because they have their own support browsers. From the support team you can take the course content. And here for each scenario you will have a different settings, like a recruiting provisioning settings we will do, and recruiting template settings we will do. Templates, in sense, again we will have 4 types of templates in the recruiting. Number 1, job requisition template, where just now I spoken about the requisition, right? What are all the fields will be coming into the picture. So that is called a job requisition template. And number 2 is a candidate application template. The reason why candidate application is required is, when you are applying for a job, you should fill your first name, last name, and your expected salary, your visa status, right? And EEO, equal employment opportunity, and your disability, and these are all things, for each country or each customer, their requirements would be different. So in USA we will have EEO in disability and veteran type of things, where we will be filling in the application, right? But if you take China or India, other countries, that comes under global implementation. If you are implementing to your customer in India, also for Indian scenarios, also for them the application would be different, right? So basing on their country zone, you will be configuring the applications. Candidate applications can be created multiple applications, and job requisitions can also be created multiple. You no need to have only one type of job requisition. You can have 2, 3, 4, 5, whichever. It's up to customer, right? For example, senior managers requisition field are different, and junior managers requisitions fields may be different. Like that, for each type of department they can have, and each level of salaries they can have different types of job requisition. So that is the difference of the requisitions. They can map however they want, but at least minimum 1 job requisition is mandatory to create a rec, to post the job, right? So what they will do, they should post the job. After creating a requisition, they should go through the complete candidate process. Those all things we will be covering in our training. Candidate process, in sense, candidate, once their requisition is created, then they will go through the approval process. Here I will show the approval process flow, how the approval looks like. This is the approval step. These all things we will be doing in our demo environments. So creating a rec is the first step. Then hiring manager will be checking the fields, and whatever the data he should maintain, he will be maintaining on the rec. Then he will be approving that requisition. Then it will go back to the recruiter as a third step. And if they want, they can keep these 4 steps. If they want to extend few more approvals or few more roles on the route map, we will say this one as a route map, approval route map, or workflow also we can say. So in this route map, if they want to extend a couple of more steps, we can configure that feature. That is how the implementation consultants will take those requirements in the workbook, and they will be mapping those details accordingly. Basing on that workbook, once you get the sign off from the customer, then only you should supposed to start to configure in the instances. Okay, so instance can be multiple instances, like they can maintain test environment and dev environment and the production environment. So initially, when you go back to 5 years or 3 years back, earlier they were not having moving the data from one environment to another environment. For example, you will be configuring all these configuration basing on your workbook in your test or dev environment. Okay, after that you should, in SAP, how we will do in our SAP HR normal application, we will have a basis consultant where they will be doing the transport, right? By creating a transport request, they can transfer the configuration to the another environment without doing the double time configuration. But in cloud application, we were having the options like to do the manual configuration in each environment. But nowadays, from 1 year or 1.5 years onwards, yearly, we got an excellent feature in SuccessFactors application where we can move the configured environment as a refresh or migration request to the production environment. Whatever the configuration you have been done in the development environment, that complete data can be moved to production environment by raising a request to the SAP. That we won't be taking care. Only SAP will be doing that after getting your sign off from the development environment from the customer. So these all things are the important discussions where we, as a implementation consultant or as a functional consultant or as an SME, you need to talk with your customers or with your offshore team or on-site team. Whatever the role you will get, you should play as a major SME expert to explain them what you are doing, or at least to explain them what are all the requirements you have been gathered from the customer. How the scenario works means, for example, you guys are working on-site, okay? Take the scenario. You will be interacting as a business analyst or as a project manager or as an SME expert with the customers here in on-site. Then what you will do in the workshops, you will gather those requirements and you will be maintaining those requirements. For example, customer has given you requisition roadmap, okay? These are the steps they have given you. They told you these are the steps I want you to create. So you will ask them how you want to, who should approve and who should see what fields, like that. These are all requirements you will be collecting from the customer, and you will be maintaining that in the workbook, and you will send this workbook to the offshore team members, your colleagues, right? Some other group will be sitting there. So that you will be giving these workbook to the offshore team. Then offshore team will be doing the configuration in the instance. That is the one type of implementation generally happens from the implementation partner to the between the customer. In case, take for example, couple of implementations are happening in USA itself or in India itself or in Singapore itself. What they will do, if they are not having any delivery center team like in other countries, then if the team, a complete team is sitting in one location and they can do everything there, but the senior consultants will give the tasks to the junior consultants. That is also the one type of level of implementation process. That is a one type of project, okay? Second type of project is, for example, think that already customer is having SuccessFactors applications, okay? So each and every customer is not very much super knowledgeable to upgrade all the features in their environments. But nowadays, SAP has made too smart, SAP making all the customers too smart, so they are not requiring all the SMEs or the functional consultants more, okay? So they can do by themselves also. So that is the how that level of education is providing to the customers by the SAP. So what they will do, they will have the upgrade features in the instance. Those upgrade features should be enabled in their environments, and they should do the testing and they should clear those testing results. And again, they should do the same features in another environments. This is how the upgrade projects or the maintenance projects will be going on, okay? That is the second type. And third type is the support project. Support project in sense, again, if the customer is already having the SuccessFactors applications, if they are not capable to solve their own issues, then they will hire the implementation consultants for a couple of hours or a couple of months. Then they will take the help from them, and they will make sure to resolve those issues as a support tickets by coordinating with the implementation consultant, functional consultants or SuccessFactors. But what you should do, you should replicate that issue. For example, if any functionality is broken, then you are responsible to research that how this is working earlier, why this has been broken, and what are all the permissions are lacking. Like these type of things you should investigate and you should resolve. This is another type of project, okay? And Some other projects will be there where they will be continuously updating to the other modules. Already they will have the recruiting, for example, they will have the recruiting, but they have not implemented onboarding. They may come into the requirement that we have recruiting, now we want to integrate onboarding module. So in that case, they require only two consultants, integration consultant and onboarding consultant. And these two people will be coordinating with their recruiting business user and also the recruiting consultant. Most probably all the projects prefer the guy whoever knows onboarding, they must know recruiting module. Okay, whoever knows recruiting and they should know onboarding module, the vice versa, so that they can easily handle the project without depending on other specific consultant. This is a cost cutting again. Okay. Data cleaning in sense, for example, when you take the onboarding, okay, in onboarding application, once you configure all the scenarios in the development environment, then you will raise the request in HCM cloud portal to the SAP by asking refresh or migrate the configuration to the production. In that ticket, you should make sure to mention that delete the test data. Okay. If you miss to mention that point, then what SAP will do, whatever the test candidates you have been taken in the development system, that complete data will flow to the production. In production also, you will see the same test candidate. In provisioning, you will have a specific candidate purge. Okay, you should schedule those candidate purge. You will have the limitation for the each specific country. For example, you said India, right? For India, you will have that how many days you should keep that candidate data in the system. But in this case, what I am telling here is in SuccessFactors, we will have the specific jobs. Okay, whenever you are moving the specific candidates data. So automatically that job will be taking care. That job will be scheduled for every night. You don't need to do or move the candidate manually. Here we will be using, we will have a specific template in a CVS format. Okay. In that format, we will be doing the masking and only that data will be moving, not the sensitive data. And we will have a data privacy statement and the retention settings, because nowadays SAP has been launched those configurations. We will be scheduling those settings in the environments. Once you schedule, then sensitive data will not be visible to anyone in the audit report also. These all settings will be going through in our configuration also. I mean, let me show you here. Super admin and super user. There are two types of users, super admin and super user. Super admin is the one who will be playing as a implementation consultant in the instance, okay, in SuccessFactors. And super user is the one who will be playing from the business perspective, but in super user will not have all the roles whatever the super admin is having. That is the difference. Okay, you have a specific very powerful RBP settings in SuccessFactors where you can give those authorizations to the related users basing on the specific module, and that is not required to give all the modules also. You know, if he is related to only Employee Central, you will give only Employee Central, not to the recruiting and onboarding application credentials. In SuccessFactors, not the environments, modules we have. Environment will be like two types of environments. One is the instance and backend would be the provisioning. Customer should purchase the list of environments from the SAP. Okay. For all, they can have a test environment like nothing but stage and DAO and quality and production also they can have 4, or they can have only DAO and production 2. So that is, and few customers whoever I have been worked, they are not keeping 3 environments. They are keeping only 2. One is the stage, which is the development and stage or testing, quality, everything is that system only. Okay. And production, only 2 environments they will keep. And few customers are there, they will keep 3 environments. One is the stage, or they can say preview also. And number 2 is the DAO, and number 3 is the production. Preview and the DAO is a quite difference again. Preview in sense, again here I'm giving little bit high knowledge, but make this note, okay? Preview environment means SAP every quarterly means every 3 months once SAP releases, SuccessFactors releases the new features, upgrade features, okay? Those upgrade features will come and sit initially in the preview environment. So they will give this privilege to the customers to do the testing in the preview for 30 days. After completing their testing within 30 days, then they will give the same upgrade features in the production again. SAP will be launching those upgrade features in the production. First, for every 3 months once, SAP launch the upgrade features. Those are called as a quarterly features for all the modules in SuccessFactors. Customer may have only take onboarding and recruiting module, for example. Then customer should be ready to do the testing in the preview environment. Preview is an environment where SAP launch these features initially. Before doing that in the production, they will first launch in the preview environment. So they will give the privilege to the customers and to the implementation consultants to do the configuration of those features and give the testing permissions to the end users. So that is the message from the SAP to the consultants. Then what we should do? We should enable, if the we should reach to the customer, we should say to the customer, these are the features has been launched, and do you require this feature to your module? Then if they say yes, we want this feature, by taking the sign off, you will be configuring those quarterly released features for the onboarding or recruiting. Then you will do your functional testing, integration testing. Once you clear those testings, then you will reach to again customer and you will say configuration is done, please proceed your testing in the preview. Then they will do the testing. If they feel comfortable with that feature, then they will be get used to that functionality. That is how the preview will be worked. Then after 30 days, automatically the same features will be again moved to the production by the SAP without any ticket or without any request by ourselves. This is the process by the SuccessFactors for every quarterly once. Change request is not required. There would be again different types of features. One is the universal feature, and number 2 opt-in feature, and number 3 opt-out feature. Number 1, universal feature means these features are without our permissions or without customer approvals, anything. No one is required. SAP will be putting those features in our instances. Okay, those are called as an universal features. They will just come and automatically upgrade in our environments. So we will not have any permissions to remove those universal features from the application. Okay, that is called a universal feature, which is applicable by default for every quarter. And number 2, opt-in feature. Opt-in feature means SAP will be explaining if this is an opt-in, so on feature. If you want, then only enable. If you don't want, you no need to enable. Okay, that is called, because they are giving the permissions to us. If you want, you take that feature. Otherwise, you can leave that. You don't need to touch that feature to enable. So you will have the upgrade center in the SuccessFactors instance. I will show you once we get the system. In that upgrade center, you will be enabling those features. Then only opt-in feature will get reflected in your module. That is called an opt-in. And number 3, opt-out feature. Opt-out feature in sense, for example, you have that feature already existing, but somehow your customer is not comfortable to use that feature and not interested to use that feature. Then you can remove that feature. That is called as an opt-out feature. These are the 3 types of features. So every quarterly SAP will be launching in our specific instances for the specific application. You should have EC for that again, employees. Here differences are there for specific jobs. For each module, jobs are different. For onboarding, you will have the user sync and permission sync. For that question, then in that case, user sync and permission sync will be working. Okay. If you have EC and for that question, again, HRIS sync will be working. That is the difference. Yeah. Any other questions?
So which means that, for test and production environment through sync, be it user sync or be it HRIS as per the module, we can do the syncing of the...
yeah, of course. I will give you guys all those jobs for the related module. Those jobs must be scheduled in the backend environment, provisioning. Again, here you please note down one more point. Provisioning is a sensitive environment. We won't be getting access for that. And also, when you guys are in the implementation, make sure that you will be working for the SAP partner company if you want to do the end-to-end of the implementation. Okay. If you want to work just as a consultant, not as a implementation consultant, then then your role would be limited to only super admin in the front end instance. That is the difference. Again, so again, what I'm telling here is in SuccessFactors, you can play different roles, like a implementation consultant, or like just a super admin, or like a business admin. Business admin, if you play as a business admin, then you just completely forget about the implementation part in your life. Okay, be like a business user, like a maintaining their SuccessFactors environments and gathering the requirements and talking with the implementation consultants as a business user. You should give the requirement to the implementation consultant. If you work as an implementation consultant, then you should take the requirement from the business user to do the configuration. That is the difference between the business consultant, business analyst, or business consultant and the functional consultant, RCM process. So first of all, as I said before, we will be creating a rec, right? After creating a rec, what we will do, we will be going through the approval process where we already discussed. After completing that approval process, recruiter is supposed to post the job. Here, when you decide to post the job in the market, you should know where you should post the job. Okay, you have options to post the job internally and externally. Internal in sense, in your organization, in the customer, I mean to say, in the customer organization, they want to open the job for internally, where the internal candidates can also apply, and also same job they want to open for the external also, means external candidates can also apply. Or another scenario, they can post that job only for the externals. They don't want to hire any internal candidates for that job. In that case, you can post only to the external. So these are the differences of posting. And also, while you are posting, you can post to the LinkedIn, or you can post to the specific their own job boards, or Monster, or Indeed, or specific consultancies. They may have some XYZ consultancies. Those are the job boards. Those are the agencies. Those all agencies we can configure and we can provide to the customer. But customer should give the list of agencies, their existing list of agency names, their addresses, their email IDs, all those things we should collect in the requirements gathering workshops from the customer. Then only we can configure the agency settings in the instance. I will explain once we go to the configuration, going forward. Okay, then what happens? Candidates start to apply for the job by using candidate application, where I have told you second template, right? Candidate application. Once the candidate apply for the job, then candidate will be creating their profile, right? Okay, profile in sense, while they are creating the profile, they should fill their education details, experience, work experience details, and they should give their address, phone number, all those things, right? Their country and everything. That is a candidate profile called as a template 3. So always candidate profile and candidate application will get merged. Means Whatever the data you maintain in the candidate profile, like a first name, your last name, your country, your working location, all those stuffs, blah, blah, blah. All that data will come and reflect in your candidate application automatically. That is the merging. Those jobs we will always schedule in the provisioning. Once you schedule, then these jobs will get merged and this data will get transferred to the candidate application, and remaining fields like a salary details and EEO, disability, all those things will not be existing in the candidate profile. These fields will exist only in the candidate application. Those details again you should update, like a cover letter, all those stuffs. And resume again, resume will get updated automatically from the candidate profile to candidate application. I will show you all those things going forward. It doesn't matter. That is not a big deal. I'm just explaining you as an introduction session today how the profile works, just for your overview of these templates. You should understand how these 4 templates behave in the recruiting, because recruiting is not a small subject. This is really a vast module. Next, fourth template is the offer template. Offer template, here also please be noted, offer templates can be created multiple or can be marked as only one, but minimum 1 template is mandatory. Offer template. The reason why I am telling multiple means, for example, when I am talking about the requisition, I told you guys that requisition templates can be created multiple, right? So they can have 5 or 10 requisitions, whatever. But if they have 10 requisitions, then really that would be a big project for you guys. Okay. So minimum, when you get into the implementation, make sure and check how many requisitions they want to configure, how many offer templates they want to configure, and how many candidate applications they want to map. Only these 3 can be multiple, but candidate profile can be only 1. Candidate profiles cannot be multiple. Okay, that is the difference of the 4 templates. Well, here why I am insisting the one of the template called offer template means offer template is very important. Whatever the fields, whatever the fields you will be collecting in your requirements workshops, those all fields are very important, where they will be playing an important role in onboarding. The reason, if the customer is integrating recruiting and onboarding, then you should focus very carefully in the offer template. The reason is, these all offer fields, like example, your location, department, division, and your salary range, your bonus, and working hours. These are all the fields sitting in the offer template, right? These all fields will automatically come and merge in the onboarding panels. In onboarding, you will have a different scenarios. The HR representative, I will tell you what are all the roles, but I'm just simply giving you shortcut. HR rep or recruiter, basing on their role, they will perform the PHV step. PHV step means post-hire verification step. So while they are doing the post-hire verification step, whatever the offer fields they have been maintained in the recruiting, those things will get integrated and flow automatically in the onboarding under PHV step. So fields are mandatory. What you should gather the requirements at that time. If they are integrating onboarding, please be noted, underline this point. If they are integrating onboarding, then only you should focus what field should come under PHV step. So that why I am telling what field should come under means, recruiter or HR rep no need to re-enter same offer fields in onboarding again. They will come automatically once you integrate. We will have a data dictionary in onboarding. I will show you how the data dictionary works. Under that, once you map the integration fields under RCM, then from RCM to onboarding, fields will be connected. Those fields will get mapped automatically. So those settings we will do. So that is how you should focus when you are sitting in a workshop specifically for the offer template. Okay, so once where we are now, the process done, right? These 4 templates are ready. Now job is posted. Once the job is posted, now candidates start to apply for a job, right? While they are applying for a job, what they will do, they will open career portals. Take something like an Accenture.com. They will go to the career and they will see SuccessFactors job. They will start to apply. While they are applying, what they will do, first thing, they will enter, they will register themselves, right, as a candidate. While they are registering, nothing but they are filling the candidate profile. That is the one of the template will come into the picture when they are doing the first step of their application. Candidate profile will come into the picture. In that candidate profile, they will fill first name, last name, mobile number, all of this, and background elements. Background elements means education details, experience details, certificates, and profile, and upload their resume and upload the cover letter, right? That is the candidate profile. Then what they will fill again, candidate application will be filling, like a whatever I said. So these, once they fill these 2, then the candidate is completed. They will hit the application submit. Then that application will come and trigger to the recruiter under here. Under here, this pipeline, they will see the candidate application has been filled. This complete pipeline, whatever you are seeing, the blue colors, these boxes, these all boxes can be configured, and these labels can be configured, and these requirements you will be collecting from the customer in your workshops. That is called as a candidate pipeline. So in this candidate pipeline, you will be creating the statuses, how they want, what are all the steps they want while they are performing each status. Like when you forward the candidate, how you should forward it, you should invite to apply. And when you are doing the system statuses like a default or auto defaulted, auto disqualified in sense, if the candidate is not selected, right, not up to expected requirements matching, then they will disqualify, right? The candidate will go and sit under disqualified bucket. So in progress, when the candidate is under progress, then they will move the candidate to the pre-screening and interview. These all steps can be created, multiple steps. Okay, they can have the multiple interviews also. Some customers will have interview 1, interview 1, interview 2, interview 3. Why I'm telling is you will have number of interviews to clear the job, right? For a few organizations, they can create a multiple interview steps and offer, then hired. So once they hit the hired, then that is how the candidate will go and move to the onboarding, because they will be initiating the onboarding at that time if they integrated onboarding. Otherwise, you no need to hit the initiate onboarding button in recruiting. Okay, that is the difference of that, please. Well, once that is done, then these all statuses can be configured, as I told you, in the boxes. Whatever you are seeing, these are the status boxes, and these boxes, these labels can be changed at any time as per their requirements. So once the candidate is hired and once it is done, then offer will be offer is also released, right? Before hiring, they will release the offer. Offer can be go for the approvals again. There again, workflow triggers. You can add the approver name there itself below the offer. Then the candidate, candidate should supposed to receive the offer. And hiring manager also, before that, hiring manager should also review the offer and should approve the offer. Then the candidate will go, receive the offer. After that, once the candidate accepts the offer, then only higher step can be done. So by that, recruiting piece is done. Then what happens? Onboarding come into the picture there. If they integrate the onboarding, think that we have been integrated onboarding. So onboarding, now think that hiring is done. Once your hiring is done, then you will be hitting the initiate onboarding button. Once you hit initiate onboarding button in recruiting, then automatically PHV step will be triggering in the onboarding application under onboarding dashboard, where the HR rep should take care of that action. So whatever the fields you have been filled in offer template, those fields will come and populate on couple of panels in onboarding. In onboarding, you can have 3 types of steps. Number 1, PHV, post-hire verification. And number 2 is the NES step, new employee step, where the candidate will performing. Post-hire verification will be taken care by the recruiter or onboarding admin or HR rep, basing on their roles. Okay, their customer will have a different org chart, right? Who should perform which action. That type of actions will be taken care by specific user. So they will be taking that PHV step, and after that NES step, right? NES step will be taken care only and only by the candidate. New hire step. Okay. Then after that, orientation step is the third one. Orientation step, again, who should perform? By the HR rep, right? Whatever the data has been filled by the candidate at NES step, then that data should be validated by the third step, in the third step by the HR rep. That is called as a orientation step. And once orientation step is done, if HR rep feels that everything is correct, then they will send those documents for the fourth step called signature step. Okay, signature step in sense, custom candidate should supposed to do the couple of signatures for couple of documents. Those documents will be in a DocuSign, electronic signature, all those things. Nowadays, everyone knows how the DocuSign works, right? So those documents will be signed again by the candidate. So that will be verified. That is done. So by that way, candidate is completed 2 steps and HR rep completes 2 steps. This is the flow of these steps. So as I said here, going forward, we will have one more version called onboarding 2.0. 2.0 is nothing but advanced module for the onboarding application. These all things we will be discussing, but once the onboarding 2.0 is going to launch by the SAP in 1911. 1911 means by end of this 2019, they are going to launch 2.0. So at that time, these steps can be created by the customer, by the excuse me, can you guys go on mute, please? So at that time, what happens, whatever the steps, titles I have given you, PHV, NES, orientation and signature steps, these titles can be changed by the customer at any time. But now, the current version, we are not having that privilege. We are using the same as it is, whatever SAP has been delivered so far. But going forward, in the advanced version of the 2.0 onboarding module, we will be getting that feature end of this year. So I'm just giving you a heads up how the onboarding has been developed, and future also what are all the features are getting into the picture. You know, so that while you guys are going to attend for the interviews, and you will be having the knowledge to explain what features are going to be launched by the SAP. Well, that is about the brief introduction about the onboarding. Onboarding is also a vast module, but we will go through step by step. Recruiting, that will be coming in the recruiting backward step. I told you here, right? Here, whatever the steps are here, okay, new applicant, pre-screening, all those things. Here you can tag one more status called a background verification step. Okay. Once the background verification is done, then only they will release the offer also. So a couple of scenarios are there like that. So here in recruiting only, that should be done before going to the onboarding. Because in onboarding, once the candidate is in the system, by performing the NES step, they should go through the I-9 verifications, right? I-9 and W-2, all those things they should fill. Once they fill, those papers will be going and triggering to the E-verification, E-verify, right? And USCIS government will be receiving those documents. So before that itself, background verification should be completed in the recruiting application. Next, the small last topic I'm going to complete now. So here, these are the roles we'll be playing in the recruiting, okay? The roles will be different for the recruiting tasks and the common roles. Common roles in sense, these roles you won't be seeing from the front end. You will be seeing in the back end on the requisition template, and also on the approval route map. That is the important of these common roles. Okay, these roles again standard roles like originator, sourcer, recruiter, VP of, these all roles can be renamed also as per the customer requirements. But these are the SAP released best practice roles. But we as a consultants, we should always recommend the customer to go through the SAP best practice steps only, rather than going for the more enhancements or as per their existing data scenarios. They may insist us to bring those scenarios, but you should be knowledge enough to explain the customer, no, this is how the best practice works. Once we stabilize with all the best practice features, then once the system is live, then you can upgrade with the coming future releases. That's how we should educate the customer. That is about the common roles. And next one is the recruiting tasks. Recruiting tasks, who will be performing these recruiting tasks and what are all those tasks means? Determine the need in sense I told you guys, right? The first step, when you require the position, then only that position will get vacant in that couple of departments, then only requisition can be open. Then the rec will be going for approval. Then the job will get posted. Then start the candidates start to apply, right? Then interview process. Then the candidate will be getting the offer approval processes, and approved offer will be released. Then candidate can extend the offer, or they can negotiate, or they are good to join. And background checks can be moved to any of these steps, after interview or before releasing the offer, or after hire also. It all depends upon the customer process. So they wherever they want to place the background checks, they can place that step. And last step would be onboarding the candidate, like initiating the candidate, like completing the forms. That is about the recruiting tasks. You can say business blueprints also, but in SuccessFactors we will call them as in workbooks. Business analyst will be working, and implementation consultant, project manager, business user, and also business side, they will have some again integration team, and they will have again end users team, right? These all people will be involving, because each and every person will have some information to share those requirements. That's why from the customer side, they should have their group, and from our implementation side, we should have our group, and the middleware should be the SAP. Why we will keep SAP as a middleware means as a middle layer to communicate between the implementation consultant and the business means, if the customer raises a specific scenario which is not existing in the SuccessFactors, then SAP will be reaching to their high levels, and they will be coordinating if that scenario going to work or not. Because not only that, they have been purchased by paying so much of money to the SAP, and they have been purchased these products from SAP, right? When they are purchasing this much, putting the money and purchasing from SAP, then SAP should always be there where they should give the valuable information when we were talking between those workshops. But that is not mandatory all the time. SAP should be attended in all the workshops. But they will set up only monthly once SAP connection call with all these guys, whoever I said, business group and also implementation group and SAP. At that time, they can raise those questions. The SAP partner also can raise, and customer can also raise. Customer will have the proof directly from SAP. We would always recommend to process as per the flow of the SAP best practice documents. Okay. We will explain, and we will be providing those best practice PTO documents will be there, project documents. Those documents we will be providing to the customer, and they will go through all those documents, and we will be educating them on how the best practice works and what scenarios are mandatory to implement in their environments. Then they will take the decision accordingly. Okay, and once I sign off, then only we will start the workshops discussions. Until we won't start workshops immediately. That is called SOW, right? SOW will be generated before workshops itself, before workbook creation itself. In that SOW, they will be deciding what features they want and how many consultants they want and what would be the timeline to complete these things and how much budget they are costing. These all things. SOW will be taken care again the project manager, not by the implementation consultants or the offshore team.